So there's 8 questions we get asked all the time. I'm going to give you my brief, abbreviated answers to them so that you never have to ask these questions again, but I suspect that actually you will. So here goes, let's just start. Question number 1, why can't we get more better customers? Because probably your value proposition is pants, probably your elevator pitch is pants, probably your website looks like everyone else's, probably you're doing everything for everyone and you don't differentiate yourself. So what you've failed in doing is the marketing basics, which is differentiation, what makes you different from the rest, and segmentation, a focus on particular people with particular hurts, problems, needs, itches, wants, scratches. So why can't we get more better customers? Because you've not nailed that marketing piece and you haven't got this awesome marketing and business development machine in place because you hope it'll just come by random. 2, why aren't we more profitable? Because you probably don't charge enough, because probably you at the same time as not charging enough, you probably don't track and understand exactly what your people are doing, and because you may have a business model which is actually broken because there's too much non-fee earning income, non-fee earning expense going on and not enough fee earning income, and because again as going up above, because you haven't nailed the marketing and business development machine, and therefore it's being too expensive to acquire customers. Your cost of customer acquisition is too expensive and the lifetime value of customers isn't good enough because you're not focusing on the right ones. 3, why won't people do what we expect? So I should have warned you, government health warning, you might not like all of this stuff. People don't do what you expect because they don't know what you expect them to do. You get the staff you deserve, you get the customers you deserve. If you lay out clearly what it is you expect and how you wish to behave, then there's a likelihood they might actually conform to that. But if somehow they're meant to just guess and figure out somehow what isn't right, that's fairly unlikely they're going to make it happen. So you need to be really clear about what it is you expect them to do, and then they probably will do it. And the 4th of the we questions is, why aren't we hitting targets? Probably because those targets weren't in any way rationally or scientifically put down, because you hadn't thought through what it required to make it happen, because our strategy is waiting for the phone to ring, because our strategy is something normally turns up, because you hadn't kind of done the maths, the very thing that you do for your clients you hadn't done for yourself. So that's those 4. Then there's 4 questions which are really about me, I. Why am I working harder? Why is it I'm working harder now than I ever worked before? I've got more people, more turnover, and yet I seem to be working harder. Look in a mirror. You are your diary. If you want to know what you're doing, look at your diary. You are your diary. So get some organisation. Work the 80-20 rule. Understand that if you take Fridays off, you'll be way more effective on the remaining 4 working days than you are at the moment. Prioritize, get rid of the to-do list, delegate, take yourself out of the center of the business, do all the grown-up stuff we know we should do, and yet we end up dithering in the detail, doing work we normally pay £8 an hour someone else to do, we do it ourselves. So you're working harder because you're not being effective. We can give you back that time. Should I hand over control? After all, I feel out of my depth. Peter principles kicked in. I'm not happy with what's going on. Maybe you should. Or maybe you should grow some and you should figure out what is required of you as the business owner, leader, founder. Maybe your skill is in tech or your skill is in sales. Maybe you aren't born to be the full-on leader. Maybe you need to understand that most businesses have the visionary leader, and they also have the person who instigates and does and makes stuff happen. But you need to figure out what your agency needs and what it needs from you and how you can best deliver to it. How do I get back my mojo? You're working too hard. You're not enjoying it. You've lost your enthusiasm. You're tired when you get home. You're tired with the family. You're tired on your own. You just need to take more time out. You need to be a lot more methodical and recognize that your identity and the business are not the same. You need to recognize that you are more important and that you need to look after yourself. You need to understand that business is a game, and you will win and you will lose according to how well you understand the rules and who else is playing. But you need to gain back control of your mojo, because then everything's great. Without the mojo, it's lousy. And finally, the question, what's the secret sauce? What's the secret sauce I'm missing? You may not be missing a secret sauce. All these people offering secret sauce, 10 ways to triple your income in the next 5 days or your money back, they're just selling you stuff. The secret sauce is that it's relatively straightforward, relatively low complexity to run an agency, but it's tough and it's hard and it requires an inordinately large amount of discipline, structure and luck. You can't rely on the luck. You need to get the systems and processes in place, and they're pretty straightforward because, as I said, an agency is relatively low complexity compared with heart surgery or airplane engine manufacture or traffic light systems. It's relatively low complexity and it's relatively repetitive if you imagine a kind of a grid. So it's just about nailing that and getting on top of it, which is really, really tough, don't get me wrong. But those that nail it are those that are able to grow the agency, run the agency they want so they can live the life they want to live. Thank you very much for listening.